relations. In full disclosure, I've been involved with them many times in the U.S. Government, and each side has something of a narrative of frustration, even bitterness, or with the other. I want to quote a sentence or two from the memoir of Jim Mattis. James, until recently, was the U.S. Secretary of Defense. And I'm quoting here. Of all the countries I've dealt with, I consider Pakistan to be the most dangerous because of the radicalization of its society and the availability of nuclear weapons. James Mattis is a respected, temperate man. So when you hear someone like that writing those words, what is your reaction?
Just that I do not think James Mattis fully understands why Pakistan became radicalized. There's just a short history which everyone may or may not know. In 1980s, when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, Pakistan, along with the United States, helped by the United States, we organized the resistance to the Soviets. And the resistance was organized by Pakistani ISI training these militants who were invited from all over the Muslim world to do jihad against the Soviet Union. And so we created these militant groups to fight the Soviets. Then, of course, fighting the Soviets, jihad was glorified. And I never forget when Ronald Reagan invited the Mujahideen leaders to Washington, and he said they reminded him, and I quote, the moral equivalence of the founding fathers of the United States. So jihad was, jihadis were heroes then. Come 1989, Soviets leave Afghanistan. The United States packs up and leaves Pakistan with a lot of those who would have reminded Ronald Reagan of the moral equivalence of founding fathers, and we were left with these groups. And then comes 9/11, and Pakistan again joined the US in the war on terror, and now we are required to go after these groups as terrorists, who were now they were indoctrinated that fighting foreign occupation is jihad. But now when the US arrived in Afghanistan, it was supposed to be terrorism. So Pakistan took a real battering in this. I have to say, Richard, I opposed this from day one. I said we had first trained these guys to fight jihad, and it was a great idea, and now we are telling the same groups it's terrorism. So we should at least have stayed neutral. Pakistan, by joining the US after 9/11, committed one of the biggest blunders. 70,000 Pakistanis died in this. We had, some say over 150 billion, some say 200 billion, some economists, Pakistanis, 200 billion lost to the economy. And on top of it, we were blamed for the US not winning in Afghanistan. I thought it was the worst period for Pakistan. The lessons learned now, I think the Pakistan government should not have pledged what they could not deliver. How could they deliver? There were insider attacks in the Pakistan army. The groups that were close to the Pakistan army, the army was now trying to kill them. So in a nutshell, Mattis says Pakistan was the most radicalized state. This is why we were. First we create these jihadis, and then we try and kill them, who then turn against the state. And that's why we suffered.
Isn't, though, the criticism fair that you are partially responsible for our difficulties in Afghanistan because Pakistan continues to accord sanctuary, provide sanctuary to the Taliban, and even if you can't always succeed against radicals who are on your territory, it seems to me it's totally legitimate for the United States to expect 100% effort. And at times we have argued, and we would argue, that the effort is anything but 100%.
Look, here was someone who kept saying that there's never going to be a military solution in Afghanistan. I kept telling Pakistan government whenever I had a chance. I came here in 2008. President I had not taken office. I spoke to senior Democrats. I told them that there will never be a military solution in Afghanistan, simply because I have read the history of Afghanistan. You just have to read the history. They fight each other. The moment a foreigner comes through, they all get together and the resistance starts. Started with the British, 3 times the British tried. The Soviets killed 1 million Afghans. There was still, the resistance was strong after 1 million Afghans had been killed. So I kept trying to tell this. I tried to explain to, I remember meeting Joe Biden, John Kerry, Harry Reid. I tried to explain, and I realized they hadn't a clue. No one understood Afghanistan. The politicians didn't understand what was going on. And this madness kept going on, and Pakistan kept being blamed. Now, Pakistan had 2 right now, but it had even more. We have 2.7 million Afghan refugees in Pakistan. There are camps of 500,000 refugees living there. How do we know who's coming in and going out? Clearly, this was not from Pakistan, the idea that there were these insurgents going from Pakistan. How are we? First of all, the tribal area bordering Afghanistan, there is no border there. The Dural line is a line made by the British, which there is no border there. Now we are fencing the border because of the allegations that fighters are going from Pakistan. We're fencing the border. We've also time and time said that, look, if you want Pakistan to completely stop anyone going across, then take the refugees back, 2.7 million people. But it's not possible that that 2.7 million refugees there and expect Pakistan to completely shut the border. Having said that, I do not think that it's because of Pakistan the US has not been able to succeed in Afghanistan, simply because there is a history behind it. It was never going to happen. And fortunately, President Trump has done, by him forcing there to be a dialogue, and then this peace deal, which was just about to be signed. This is painful for us. The peace deal was about to be signed, and President Trump has, we read it in the papers. I mean, we should have at least been discussed with us. But now I'm meeting President Trump later on, and I will try and tell him that, look, there's not going to be a military solution. For 19 years, if you have not been able to succeed, you're not going to be able to succeed in another 19 years.
I actually agree with you that there can't be a military solution. What I doubt is that there could be a peace deal that holds. So even if there were an agreement with the Taliban, what is there about the DNA of the Taliban that leads you to believe that any peace they would sign would be anything more than tactical?
I feel that this is not the Taliban which was there when in 2001, who was displaced by the US. Things have changed. They say that you only cross the river once. This is realities have changed. They have learned. Taliban realize that they cannot control the whole of Afghanistan. The Afghan government knows that they cannot, there needs to be some sort of a peace deal. There has to be a political settlement. Let's just face it. You only have 2 choices. Either you fight or you have some sort of a political settlement. There's no point in fighting anymore. I wish that this deal had been signed, there would have been a ceasefire, and then we would have proceeded towards the only way there's going to be, the US is going to eventually take the troops out and there'll be peace there. So, I agree with you, Richard, it's going to be tough. I never for 1 minute assume that this is going to be easy, but it is the only way.
I actually think there is a slightly different way, which is, one idea is we would fight for military victory. I agree with you, that's not within reach. I am profoundly skeptical of a peace agreement. The third approach, for as long as it takes, is to support the government and basically preserve what you can in Afghanistan so it can't again become a basis for a terrorist attack. It's not a solution, but the United States has kept forces in other countries for more than half a century. We have supported governments. It's not a solution, but it might be preferable to a situation of Taliban control over the country.
I don't think Taliban will be able to you what they're going through.